Go to the cause. Mr. Sincheri, any news for us?
First and foremost, I'd like to talk about the AP Pupil Nationals competition this past weekend. I was honored to be a member of the team to go to the Nationals competition. And I'd just like to note something. Leading up to our competition, our state competition actually, no one thought we'd win. We were going in, we were so nervous. We were like, oh, we know nothing about the Constitution. We've been preparing, but we really didn't have any faith in ourselves. And we went to the state competition, we won first. And we were all ecstatic, we were all surprised. We knew we had a bigger challenge ahead of us, Nationals. So we started preparing, and going into Nationals, no one really understands the structure, but you have 3 days. The first 2 days, you go into competition, you work really hard, and then you hope to qualify on the night of the second day, event for top 10 in the nation. So you compete in Maryland, and top 10 in the nation gets to compete in Congress. So we worked hard, and luckily we were rewarded with top 10 in the nation, and we competed in the Committee on Natural Resources. And while we only got 10th, we were still happy for our top 10 in the nation, because once you get to that high level of competition, it's just everyone there is a winner. Everyone who's worked hard to make top 10 out of 56 teams from all 50 states. It's truly an honor to be considered one of the top 10 teams in the nation. When going up to states, we didn't even think we'd win the state competition, and we went up there and represented New Jersey in the best way possible. Beyond that, I'd like to talk about Model UN. At the last board meeting, I didn't really get a chance to talk about our Model UN team. We have performed tremendously this year, from winning delegations awards at Naaman at Georgetown, to winning third at NISBN, which is our national conference in New York City, and then finally at RMC recently we won Best Large Delegation. And it's just among the students have just grown so much over this year under the tutelage of Mr. Broadman and Mr. Mondry. And finally, I'd like to talk about FBLA. FBLA recently competed in Consumer Bowl, and we won the county competition. I was a member of that team as well. We won the county competition, and we went to our regional competition in Monmouth County, and we placed third at the regional competition, which is the best we've performed in the past few years, and we just hope to get better every time. Tomorrow is the Senior Variety Show. I encourage all of you to come out. It's one of our last senior events, and it's just sometimes it makes me reminiscent of all the years past. I was like, oh, I just want to get out of high school, and now it's our last event, and it's just, it's kind of sad to know that in a couple of weeks, 2 months from now, I won't be a high school student anymore. I won't be on this board anymore, and I just won't get to experience all these great things in this great district. So, thank you.
All right. Well, congratulations on IPPL.
Do you want me to hold him back so he has another year?
I was going to say, it's going to be
we could not give you your diploma.
Yeah.
We could do that, seriously.
We could, a lot of things we can do.
No problem.
No, that would be justified if you looked at my calculus grade.
He's doing what I did senior year. You got too much senioritis now.
Oh.
You guys, you say, in IPPL that you never thought you would have made top 10, but all of us here, having seen the history of our IPPL teams over the past many, many years, we kind of knew you were going to anyway. But congratulations, it is something else. To testify on the Hill is intimidating, but it is an incredibly breathtaking experience. So you will never forget being in those hearing rooms. All right, well, congratulations again. All right, nobody else is going to top that, but does anybody else have anything to say? Dr. Cohen.
Well, I'm not going to top that. You do deserve a lot of congratulations, and the entire team. You've never let us down, so again, kudos. Was at the beginning of the orchestra and concert last, I think it was 2 nights ago, over at the JM Pack. And I'm just listening to their year-end series beginning with their orchestra. And it reminds me, the first time I heard that orchestra was when they opened the JM Pack. Mm-hmm. And my wife was sitting next to me saying, oh my God, I cannot believe how good these people are for high school students. I said, well, then you're going to fall off your chair when I tell you that they're actually junior high school students. It's a great series. These kids put in an awful lot of time. They're intensely talented. And I would encourage the rest of you to go to as many of the other series that will be going on before the end of the school finally, I'd like to thank those parents and those students who came out tonight to exercise what is their right to address this board on a topic that's important to them and to the rest of us. It's an example of democracy in action. And just wanted to add a couple of my own thoughts to that, and that is that unfortunately, the underlying theme in this whole series of standardized testing is a belief in a curriculum geared towards the standardized testing, and that to me bothers me even more than the test itself, that we're gearing our curriculum towards passing this test. We're a school district that has a long tradition of excellence, and that's based on the backs of parents who've moved here for that, and people who are lining the walls that we had a ceremony for last week, who devoted their lives towards being teachers before there was a park, or a HESPA, or a New Jersey Ask, or a California Achievement Test, or any of that testing that we are now forcing down these kids' throats. And these kids all did well, and I applaud you for standing up for your rights. It's our job now to take a look at that resolution. I hope that the rest of my board members take that seriously and try to come up with something that represents East Brunswick and the fact that we won't be intimidated by the state. Kind of reminds me of going into a country that's just been attacked by terrorists, and if you agree that after that you're never going to go back, then the terrorist has won. And so if we're going to be worried about a TICFA or schools that are on corrective action plans, then we're just giving in to the bully and the terrorist, and they've won. So I think we need to think very seriously about how we move at this next juncture and do what is the right thing for the district and for those who've moved here, for the educational system we believe.
Excuse
Anyone
me. I would just like to take exception with the wording of forcing it down their throats. As a Board of Education member, I can take no responsibility for forcing any examination down anybody's throat, okay? And I think that this is where we've run into a little problem here, is that, you know, there's a lot of emotion and a lot of anger about some of these issues, and I think it's this kind of talk that just encourages that. I think that, and I have said this before, that although I think that there are an incredible number of problems with the park exam, I still think that we must realize that more than 30% of our students are requiring remediation when they get to the college level. That tells me that there is some type of assessment that we are missing out on. I think we are also in the process of really kind of revolutionizing education. I do believe that students today are being taught differently than the way my kids were taught even, 10 years ago. I think that we need to look for new ways to assess what they have learned. I don't believe that the park exam or any useful assessment is going to only require kids to spit stuff out on an exam. I think that what we're looking for is to have our students truly understand, be able to come to a reasonable conclusion based on data. I don't know whether or not this park exam actually does that. There really has been not enough of a history to provide any kind of reliability or even validity at this point. The way the state has rolled out this exam has been so poorly done. The fact that they are counting an exam as being completed when a student merely fills out their name and answers one question, that's considered to be a completed exam, and that score is going to get put into place. I mean, there's so many things that need work. But saying that this Board of Education is trying to force this test down your throat or your child's throat is inaccurate, and it's inflammatory.
Well, I don't believe that I said the board was trying to do that. And if I did that, I
Well-
didn't mean that. I think the state is insisting on pushing.
But just the terminology that you're using, Dr. Cohen, is inflammatory. And I think we've heard enough inflammatory talk. And I think that everybody needs to understand that we are all on the same side here. And I don't think that the fact that 10 schools have signed a resolution is going to amount to a hill of beans. I don't. Okay, there's 600 school districts in the state of New Jersey. 10 of them have supported a resolution. I don't think, I mean, certainly I would want to consider a resolution, but do I think actually passing one is going to make any difference in Trenton or to Commissioner Hesby or to Governor Christie? I don't kid myself that it would.
Mr. Flipsack.
I'll change the topic to Fairview. Dr. Valesky mentioned earlier about Fairview, and I had the wonderful experience of actually being on Fairview as a parent. And it was unbelievable experience, and I hope everybody has a chance to do it when they have a chance or a child at Hammersholt. What made Fairview as an experience to me was that all the levels of teacher chaperones, parent chaperones, the Fairview staff itself, all came together to give a wonderful science experience I took a count of 23 teacher chaperones, 52 parent chaperones. There were 17 Fairview teachers, staff, roughly about 220 kids, and this happened 3 times, not just once. So you got to figure it happened 3 times over again. What happens is that when you talk to the teachers are thankful that the parents are there. And when you talk to the parents are happy that the staff is there. So everybody else is happy about everybody else pitching in and making it a wonderful experience for everybody. When they were talking about students coming back in their senior years, and they were asking the seniors coming back and said, what was one of the nicer experiences that you did all during your grades? And they mentioned Fairview as one of the experiences that standed out, and that was on only the 6th grade level. And they remembered that as they graduated. It was, I don't want to give what Fairview is, but it's really a science experience. It's the topography of the land, it's the ridge, it's the mountains, it's the swamp, it's the lake that organizes it all together. And it's a wonderful experience. And you get a chance to meet all levels of all people. And roughly you split the cabin with another person and 8 students. And I was wondering who would actually get the bad experience of being with me, because I know they were going to tell me that, but it was actually Barbara's husband, Larry, got that bad experience of being with me.
I heard he wanted to opt out.
Well, what happens is, the funny part about it is Larry's is also a CPA. So we thought when the kids were...
How boring.
Oh, no.
I said to Larry, we talk
That is
about
harsh.
accounting. If we talk about accounting, we'll put the kids right to sleep right away.
You're out of order.
Oh, okay. Well, I just hope that everybody gets a chance to experience it. Thank you.
I can't even imagine being in a room with 2 CPAs.
Well, the kids were like, all during the time, they were active.
And they
so-
stayed?
They were doing their
And-
taxes?
and- No, well, what happens is they played their games and stuff like that, but there was a time where everybody had to go to sleep, and they really didn't want to go to sleep because they were so active. I
You were
said, Larry,
telling
we'll talk
CPA
about it."
stories, is that it?
Right.
Talk about
No,
tax code.
We talk about tax code, we'll talk about, and they'll be asleep in a second, so, but Larry was wonderful, and I enjoyed the experience with him.
Mrs. Reese,
Thank you.
That's all Mrs. Reese has to say, so there must be a backstory there we're not getting, but okay. It is a great experience, yeah. Cool, thanks. Anyone else? Well, we have a need for closed session, so may I have a motion to go into closed session for the reasons stated in the agenda? We will go back into open for just a few minutes, I think. So, motion by Mrs. Becker,
Second.
second by Mrs. Shaw. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Good night.